goodness gracious. That's terrific.
I love you!
Thank you. Well, okay, and first and foremost, thank you so much for being so patient, for waiting, and going through lines and spending time when things are, you just want to sit down and have a coffee or a Coca-Cola. But thank you for
something stronger.
Us. We appreciate it. We should sit. Oh boy. Man.
I guess this must be what it means to say, till all are one. Nonsense. One shall stand, one shall fall. Power through tyranny. Peace is the right of all sentient beings. A parking spot is worth.
You won. I thought it had something to do with this parking space, how valuable. So anyway, how are you? Questions? Wow.
We do have some questions for you, but I'm just going to let you guys go forever.
Oh.
So first and foremost, big tfcon welcome to Peter Cullen and Frank Walker.
You guys are awesome.
We love you, Frog! I'm Pizza!
So we typically start each panel with a question kind of to get you started. How did you get started in your career? And Peter and Frank, when did you first work together?
Mighty man and young.
Yes.
Mighty man and yuck. That's when I met Frank. It was Ruby Spears.
Yes.
Ruby Spears production. And I played Mighty Man. Frank played yuck. It appeared and then
disappeared. I think we did one, probably got maybe one season then. I think it was probably that season show. But it was a lot of fun.
we had a ball.
And basically, we did all the characters. Remember, I mean, I don't think we ever had guests.
No, we didn't have one guest. We just had us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we got it. Both had parking spots. And donuts.
And donuts.
But they were really fun guys to work with, that studio. And actually, Ruby Spears, they were the ones who actually brought Scooby-Doo to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. They started out, I think, as writers, and well, first I think they were at ABC as executives and writers, and then they came up with the Scooby-Doo thing, or did the script anyway, and brought it all to life.
You know, going back, I can't really remember how close that came to the origin of Transformers. It was before Transformers.
Yeah, we started the first show in 1959. 69, excuse me, 69. I made a mistake. 69.
Yeah,
That was our first Scooby-Doo, and then when we did Transformers, it was 84.
I wasn't even born.
You have socks older than that. But anyhow, so yeah, we did our Scooby in 69, and then we did Transformers, so it's now...
84 was
do you need a chair, sir?
Do not feed that dog.
It's a...
Nobody feed that dog.
You're doing your Kermit thing, right? He does a very good Kermit the Frog, by the way.
So we we worked Mighty Man in Yuck. And then I guess we went back to Hanna-Barbera.
Yep,
And we're still before Transformers.
yep.
Yeah. So, now what do you want to talk about?
Well, Universal nomination.
Yeah, right now, Joe, right?
If you don't ask us a question, we'll do.
I was just going to say, I have questions submitted by some of our VIP guests. So Jason Kim is our first one to ask a question.
Hi, Jason.
Hello. Out of the many years of the franchise, what are some of the things you've enjoyed most about voicing Optimus Prime and Megatron?
I'm going to steal the answer before you give it.
Well, I didn't hear it.
Oh. I explained it. He was asking us what are some of the things that we enjoyed about doing our characters of Megatron and Optimus Prime over the years. What were some of the things that we enjoyed about it?
Oh, the laughter, the fun, the joy of working together with our co-actors. And the time went by so fast. And we don't, half the time we had no idea what was, I'm speaking to you. I had no idea what it was all about. I had no idea. I mean, one moment I'm a superhero, and the next moment I'm another character that wants to beat the crap out of something. Oh, come on, Tom. Let's get some blood.
I think it was uncontrollable chaos in an artistic sense, but it was so much fun, and as Peter alluded to, it's the people, and it's always the casts that you work with, and Transformers was very unusual because it was enormous, the cast that we had. I mean, we were all doing multiple characters.
Well, you were doing 154. Most of us had 3. You know.
Tell me more, really. But it was so much fun working with those talented people like Arthur, who you saw today, Neil Ross, Michael Bell, Dan Gilbazan, so many people, and we had so much fun. And then also, during that period of time, and Peter will attest this because he was one of the kings that shared the throne, but it was a renaissance, if you will, of animation. I mean, we were so busy with so many shows that you were literally running across town to do shows. There's Robbie. Rob will tell you that.
Yeah, there he is.
And, but we had so many shows going on that you were literally going from one studio to the next studio to the next studio in the same day, doing like 3, 4, 5 shows. And then, of course, Transformers had such a huge cast, and they were complicated and long scripts that Wally would have to say, okay, does anybody have to leave? And 10 of us would go. And it was still kind of tough to get it out. But anyhow, that's kind of silly.
Wally was the director, Wally Burr.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And yeah, we used to drive him nuts. We really did. I mean, this guy could make you laugh at, a feather. A feather, I would laugh at. And then this guy could make you laugh. And it just got intolerable sometimes.
That makes more sense.
Wally Burr would say, "What's going on in there?" He could do an air conditioner from another room. Or a leaky faucet, You're like, what is going on? And Wally would say, Peter, what's happening in there? Don't you hear that? I mean, there's an air conditioning leak or something. You forget about hearing that in there? It's brother.
He's picking on me, but I'm thinking of Michael Bell. Because Michael Bell would have this wonderful technique where he could insult you in the most unusual terms, and I'm cleaning that up because there are kids in the group here. But he would go on and on amongst the cast because Wally would be giving us readings. So he'd have the talk down, he'd go, all right, I want you on line 72, bubbles, and Mike would be going laughing the whole time, making us laugh. And then when you lift off the snake, we all would get in trouble because they're going, didn't you hear what I said? Anyhow, you had to be there. Much fun, much fun. Yes.
All right, so our next questions are from our friend Bailey over here.
Do you realize we haven't answered any questions?
It's in school.
We made sense? Hi, Bailey.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good.
All right, so my question. How did it feel for the two of you to reunite on Transformers Prime decades after playing Optimus and Megatron in the original series?
That was fantastic. We love, well, I'm speaking for myself. Can I speak for you? I really like working with Frank a lot better than he liked working with me. When he said, but actually, it was such a great show, and Peter and I, we did the features, at least Peter did them all, I did like, as Megatron, the two, but we never worked together when you're doing the feature, you just work alone and you do picture, ADR. And when we came back to Prime, we got to work together again. And that as, what was that, not that many years ago, so it was super, super fun. And we met a whole new cast of Transformers, and they were unbelievable. So we were kind of like the senior citizens of the group. And we didn't have to cause any trouble. They did it all. Oh, it was much fun. And the CGI, I think Peter will agree with me on this, is that that type of format, working in CGI, you could be much more subtle. You didn't have to push it and scream and yell everything. And I like that, for Megatron. Of course, Megatron had transformed from, I am Megatron, leader of the Decepticons, G1, into, I am Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. So he had to play.
I'm old, I forget.
Dr. Stonemeyer. My name is Dr. Stonemeyer. Sign all of your assets. The papers are in my car. Okay, we got time. Do people mind if we take a minute? Sign those papers right now.
Teacher, thank God it's Friday.
I give up. But like working with them was so much fun. And they were crazy.
What is that? Well, I wouldn't say crazy. Mind you.
Go ahead, finish your vodka. Keep him happy.
So, getting back to the Transformers, Generation 1. When did I find out that my career as Optimus Prime was over?
That was, I can't remember the actual date, but I think it was probably, could have been 86, but it was the feature.
Yes. Page 17.
You see the things he remembers?
I'm at page 17. He's around page 3. I say, Frank, where are you? She said, no, we're on page 3. He said, we're going to go up to page 17. I'm getting whacked. Who did I PO off?
And that was such a shock because like Peter was alluding to earlier, a lot of times we don't read the scripts or know what's going on until you get there, and the reason is the directors all have so much input, you don't want to get too much confused in your mind like what you think, you know, because you come in and they take everything and want you to do it their way anyway. So we had no idea what was coming up in the script, even though they had sent us those scripts the night before, so.
It's just as well, you know.
Yeah.
You can grab a lot of garbage and put that into the next scene, you know, which you shouldn't do because
But
that's,
fortunately,
yes.
they brought you back.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Some of you might remember that. Some, I mean, there are some of you guys, I was told that a lot of kids hid in their closet or under their bed, didn't want to come out. Mothers got very upset, called the powers to be, and who, God knows who they were at the time, but saying, you know, and they brought me back for a couple of shows. And I had no idea. I mean, you know, I was the little guy with the cloud over his head, you know, I didn't care. I said, gee whiz, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And, you know, they couple of shows, and they piece that, and they say, now the kid's spin. He'll be back again, you know, the next season or something. So we'll just wait. Well, I never did. I never did back again. So I wonder if we come back.
But now you are an icon. And now you have won a Lifetime Achievement Award.
I love you.
We love you.
So our next question comes from Kevin Jonathan. Over here. Kevin, there we go.
We love you too, Frank.
Awesome, hello. What has been the most important changes you've seen in the Transformers brand, being a part of it for 40 years?
So what has been the biggest change in Transformers over 40 years? I think, first of all, the explosion of the franchise, which we had no idea about when we were doing G1. We did those shows, and like Peter was saying, you know, we were surprised because we weren't really reading scripts, and we never saw any kind of feedback other than getting picked up for another season and getting the feature film. So we thought, well, there's some interest there. But then when the internet came out and we found this whole group of you and people who were interested in Transformers, and that it was alive and growing and it was so huge and widely appreciated, and then the new formats would come out, iterations of shows, and it just was growing and growing and growing. The CGI was a big difference, and the features, you know. Features for Transformers were a huge leap in a direction.
Yeah. The idea that the Transformers was a continuing franchise, it was beyond me. I didn't pay any attention because, you know, of course I wasn't involved, but it was only until the feature film came out with Michael Bay, and they called me in to audition for Optimus Prime. So I'm sitting around. So Michael Bay's sitting there. There's a script assistant sitting there, and there's somebody else sitting there, and they're recording it. And the girl's reading Ironhide, and I'm reading Ironhide on Optimus Prime. And I say, hang on just a second. Do you mind if I used to play Ironhide. So I'm sitting across from Michael Bay, who doesn't have a clue about, you know, Transformers, as far as I'm concerned. Don't get get me wrong. Well, you didn't get me wrong, but he's a great director, as a matter of fact, and he had a lot of. He's an amazing guy, and I got along with him really well. But the guy that was reading Ironhide, I just want to kick some blood. No, Ironhide, relax. We will do that, but later. Let's do it now. Where was I? And Michael Bay sitting here, he said, did you play that game? I said, yeah. Okay, which one? That's an actor's poetic license. You can really sing. I just like to hear your voice and say,
Trouble causer.
But sensationally speaking, it was a wonderful experience to read a scene, to a very incredible director and really screw it up.
But going like from the animation world into the feature world with your character, how was that for you? Was that a big change? Did you have to do more?
It kind of was, because I had to work. I had to work in the studio with some of the actors, and they would have the person that I'm reading to right next to me, staring up at a 45-foot crane, because that's my size. I was supposed to be over 45 feet high. So I'm talking to an actor or an actress, and I'm reading my lines, and she's like, I mean, it feels very strange, Well, mind you, those were few and far between, but nonetheless, everything was bigger. Your voice was bigger, and the explosions were bigger. And the guns were bigger.
I recall, if you want to talk about me, I recall when I went in to work with Mr. Bay for the first time, kind of to audition, he wanted to see what Soundwave sounded like. And they said it's going to be at the Santa Monica studio, but it's in his office. I thought, oh boy, that's not going to work for me. Because Soundwave is the voice, but you got to work the mic in order to get the sound. So it's like, I am Soundwave. Well, you got to go here and you go, I am Soundwave. Megatron, there are Autobots about, one sitting next to you. And so, even this, that doesn't, you can feel it transforming a little bit, if you will, transforming. He had a sound editor with him in the office on this little, and Robbie, you probably would know what it is, but there's a little small but very sophisticated recording apparatus. And here, so I did Soundwave in there, and I sounded, like this. I could see I was losing it, just because he's hearing you naked, basically. So then he goes through the process and into this really great machine, and the sound engineer's got hands on, and he's kind of going, and Michael Bay says, "How's that sound?" I remember, it was just such a terrible feeling to audition without actually feeling like you're in that spot. But yeah, that's my story.
So, our next question comes from Oder Osman.
He gets under his chair.
So what sort of technical challenges did you face when playing multiple characters at once in the same scene? Did you have anything, did you do anything differently than recording with other members of the cast?
When we had multiple characters,
You hear that, I can't.
I got things in. And if you're working with with a cast, and you're doing multiple characters, do you have to do anything, or do they have to do anything technically, or how do you adjust to it? So, for example, what you're talking about is Ironhide and Optimus Prime and others that you would have to do, and we would have to do in sessions. How you just talk to yourself, basically. And for Soundwave, they did all of my stuff post-session. So I would just read in a monotone. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
I am Soundwave. My liege, there are no Autobots.
It was strictly monotone, so it was a very fun acting part.
Yeah.
And then Scott Brownlee, our engineer, is he here? That's too bad. You would have loved to meet him. He was the genius behind recording the Transformers. He and his wife. And they did all the sessions, and he used an instrument he told me called a vocoder. And he would bend the sound up and down so that would give modulation to the characters. But anyhow, I think like when Peter's playing multiple characters, or when there are multiple characters, you just play against yourself, you know. If you're familiar enough with them and you're doing them every week, you can, like he would do Optimus Prime, and do a couple of your characters talking to each other.
Yeah. Well, you gotta leave space between the voices. You can't just interrupt each other, which is impossible to do unless you're you.
Oh. Don Messick is the only person I ever saw overlap himself. That means if you're playing two characters and you actually overlap, you know, it doesn't happen really. It's pretty hard to do. Though. Anyhow, so it's not a big deal if you're familiar with your characters and you're reading them, and if you do Rumble and Megatron, I think I see Optimus Prime out there.
Well, why don't you go get him?
And technically, unless they're fiddling with the sound or something, I don't think it's a technical problem.
Well said.
Yeah, I think the round of the Academy Awards, or tonight I had a speech. Did they invite you? Usually they invite Peter. Anyhow, so let me take, yes sir, you have a question.
Well, we're getting ready to close out the panel, my friends, but I'm told that you might have something you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, this is a little something that I'm sure a lot of you have seen that we kind of like to do just to show you what it's like that when we actually do get to read a scene together, and just to show you what the dynamics are. So this would be Megatron and Optimus Prime. Megatron looking for his glasses. Not part of the scene. Okay, I'm getting there. Look how much faster he is than I. All right. Megatron and Optimus Prime. Oh, no, normally, actually, the people have asked that question too. Is when you're working, do you like to stand or do you like to sit? And sometimes I like to stand, and most of the time I like to sit. If you're comfortable with the character and you've done a show a bunch of times and you don't need a lot of energy, but sometimes when you need a lot of energy, it helps to stand. Especially working with you because we yell at each other. Get off my stool.
You're much better when you're sitting.
Are we talking about driving or acting? I stand up and drive.
Here we go.
So, here we stand, leaders of the Autobots and Decepticons. We alone control the future of this planet and the universe beyond. Optimus, we can share the power and the destiny of all that lies before us.
Megatron, it is not power I seek. I wish only to protect this planet. I want no harm to come to these humans.
You fool! Why throw away your life so recklessly? With Energon from the Earth and combining our troops, we can rebuild Cybertron, and the entire universe awaits us.
I will not endanger the Earth or its humans. Cybertron has shown us what devastation comes from greed and power.
There forever be my enemy. No one will stand in my way.
Megatron, one shall stand and one shall fall.
So be it. Power through tyranny.
I will never give up hope that one day we will all stand as one. Until then, till all are one. Autobots, transform and roll out!